Thursday night. You know what that means. It's time for Magic and Martinis. Please welcome your host, Scott Wells.
Hello, everyone. Hey there. Thanks a lot for joining us again for another Thursday night exciting time of a virtual happy hour for Magic and Martinis. That means there's going to be opportunities for you guys to join us virtually with your favorite cocktail or mocktail. If you want to have a soda or some water or orange juice, that's fine too. We're just glad to have you come along and be with us. We are going to be having some great guests on tonight. We're going to have some lively conversation. And again, it's called Magic and Martinis because, well, we talk a lot about magic, but tonight we're going to be talking about some other interesting things as well. We've had a lot of things that have been happening here this last week, and so this is going to be something that's going to be kind of topical, if you will. And I want to remind you guys then as well from week to week, of course, to be sure to listen to the Magic Word podcast. We got new episodes coming out each week. But right now, let me jump right into it and get my guest as soon as I get a drink here. Cheers. Boy, that's good martini. I know how to make them, don't I? Come join me sometime. Well, you are joining me right now, and I'm glad you are. Thank you guys very much. Let's welcome my first guest over here from Atlanta, Georgia. I want to welcome someone who has the better half of one of my best friends, and she is wonderful, and she's a golfer, and she's loving retired life then right now. Please welcome Carol Garrett. Hey, Carol.
Hey, and thanks for the martini.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What is that you're drinking, by the way? What kind of martini you
It's
drink?
a Cosmopolitan.
Mm.
Yeah. With my favorite, Grey Goose. Yeah. So.
A Grey Goose. Mine is Three Olives brand cherry with 3 olives, actually. Now, of course, that Carol, that I appreciate you being here. We're going to talk a little bit about golf, I think, actually, if you don't mind, a little bit tonight. And also because that you are a retired OR nurse, I think it'd be kind of interesting to kind of hear your perspective of maybe kind of what's been going on, and as well as some of your friends, what's happening in the hospital scene there, particularly in Atlanta, and other things perhaps might give us a COVID update. But someone else that you take care of all the time on a regular basis is my buddy and your other half. And that'd be Dan Garrett. Hey, Dan, are you there? Just a second. There he is.
Oh, I look like somebody else for a second. Yes.
Right. You look different.
Make my have to use my inhaler from time to time. Isn't that funny? Oh, sorry. I have an extra one. Just in case. Oh, wait a minute. There's more.
Is that an inhaler, or is that one of those things you put to your forehead to check your temperature?
It's an inhaler. Actually, these are rubber. They're made by Nick DeFott. He said.
Nick makes those. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, he's got his own kind of area of expertise over there because he's done the thing with the hearing aid and now with the inhaler.
Yeah, but he used my move to make the multiplying inhalers. Yeah, banana.
Yeah. Well, cool. Okay. Well, next then I want to introduce then. By the way, what are you drinking there tonight, Dan?
Well, I'm not allowed to have martini because I'm diabetic. Right. But I'm allowed to have some red wine from time to time, so I've got me some red wine right here.
I'm glad that you held off to join us then tonight.
From the Biltmore Estate, actually. So.
And joining us then tonight also from down in Florida, we've got another good friend who just went today actually to the liquor store just to get some more some vodka. Please welcome Hal Meyers. Hey, Dameon.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey, how you guys doing? Oh yeah.
Cheers to you. So what are you drinking over there?
Oh, this is my second Zodiac craft potato vodka. It's really good martini. It's very, very good. Sorry.
A craft martini.
Martini.
Yeah. I'm normally I usually drink Ultimate vodka, and I'll tell everybody about that later on. Because I didn't drink for years, and Dirty Martini was basically the first drink I probably had in like 25 years. Yeah,
Hey, Susan.
yeah, I like it now. It's good. Hey, did you guys see George Schindler's on the list here? George Schindler popped in.
Schindler's List.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey,
there he is.
George.
The dean of the SAM. Thank you, George, for joining us.
What did the dean do?
Yeah, what did the dean
and
do?
Joe Turner too. Joe Turner's a friend of mine too. I mean,
I don't know him, but welcome, Joe.
Oh, super nice. By the way, super nice guy. Really great magician. Super nice guy. Yeah.
And plays
everything I say, Hal.
I'm sorry. What's that?
Piano.
Joe's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I see. I don't know that because okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have some more martini.
Clark injured over there then as well. Let's see who else we got over there. That Harriet Jacobs. Jacobson.
Harriet.
Harriet.
Hey.
Hello.
I think you're going to be a future guest,
Yes, she is going to be a future guest.
Hey,
there we go.
Steve
Steve.
from Atlanta.
Steve Goldstein. Oh,
Yeah,
is that where
Atlanta
Steve's
boy.
from? Because he runs that magic thingy, right? Yeah,
Yes, it does.
that online. Yeah. He's been very helpful to me. You know.
There's Joe Turner. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I want to thank you guys again very much for being here. There's just a ton of stuff that we can talk about. But one of the things that I mentioned kind of right off the bat over there then, Carol, that because you are a retired OR nurse, you're playing a lot of golf. You were actually just playing today. Is that right?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I have a Thursday ladies league that I play with at Stone Mountain Park. So,
And you were actually a past champion of your club. Is that right?
of a former club that I belonged to. Yes, I was a match play champion. So,
A match play champion. Okay.
Whoa.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we got somebody from Tasmania. Hey, good morning.
Yeah.
Garrett. Glad to have you there.
Excuse my ignorance, but what is a match play champion? It just sounds really good. I like it.
Other than stroke
And-
play, where you count every stroke, you play against another person, and whoever wins the hole wins the hole, and then you win the match. Whoever wins the most holes win the match. So
Here's to you, Carol.
it's different rules, and it's tough to win because everybody has a different handicap, which is how well you play. So you can play with different people, but you may have to give them several strokes. And had to give one lady 12 strokes on a
Sure.
tournament, and that was tough to overcome.
Match
Yeah.
plays like Ryder Cup
But I won it,
Wow.
like Ryder Cup,
tournaments you see on TV
yeah,
or stroke
Oh,
play
wow.
medal play.
yeah. So I'm
So-
not that good a golfer, actually, but
Yeah. I played
a good time
once
at
in
it.
Manila. I played golf once in Manila. That was
there you go. So
Yeah.
well, I
Yeah,
played in.
you played in
I played golf like 3 or 4 times.
I played in Portugal.
What's that?
And
Where
I
you
played
played
I
in,
played in Manila. I played in California. Oh,
You played in
Portugal's
Manila,
nice,
so you can swing a golf club inside of an envelope.
yeah.
right.
I nearly lost
Yeah,
Dan
no.
on a golf course in Harrogate, England. We were out playing at this little course, and we didn't have our regular golf shoes. We just had tennis shoes. Dan took a big swing, and of course, on the wet grass, his feet whipped right out from under him. Boom! Flat on the. I thought, oh God, he's gone. So he looks up and he says, "Well, I guess next time I won't take such a big swing."
Yeah. By the way, I'm sorry, Luke, and who else? Somebody else just hi. How you guys doing? This is great.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in. Yeah, Luke.
Yeah.
Luke Dancy?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
Luke
I
was
was gathering for
really
garden,
nice.
Robert Vallon gathering for
It was
garden.
Greenspan. Paul Ramone.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Cajun.
Did
did
you
you-
love
did
the
you-
pictures I posted?
It's Paul's,
Paul's on.
ears,
Paul Romani's on too.
his ears must be burning. We were talking
Oh,
about
and by the way,
Yeah.
if you guys don't know Scott, Scott Dan Cow, if you don't know Billy Dameon, Scott, do you know Billy Dameon?
I do
Do
not.
you know the name?
Yeah.
Billy Dameon is one of my dearest friends. Billy does talk about a triple threat. Billy does everything. He's a terrific juggler, terrific character actor. He does great. One of the top balloon guys in the world. His magic is impeccable. Been one of my dearest friends for years and years and years. So hey, Bill.
Sounds like,
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like
great.
a friend of
Glad you guys
mine
are here.
Hey, Billy.
Sounds like a friend of mine named Charlie
Who was
Fry.
that?
Charlie Fry.
Fry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
He does
man.
everything awesome. But
Yeah,
sounds like-
Charlie. You know, when you talk about magicians, and then you have to have another category. It's Charlie Fry.
yeah, and
I've
then-
never met him,
Right.
but I've seen his stuff online, and he is just incredible. Scary,
Yeah.
actually, how good he is at everything.
Charlie is, I think, like the next Johnny Thompson. I mean, he knows a little bit of everything and is just a marvelous consultant and
Yeah.
performer and can do pretty much all of it. Before I get too far afield, I want to go back again, Carol, that again, being a retired OR nurse. So tell me, you obviously have a lot of friends who are still working in the hospital.
Yes,
Are they
I do.
overloaded right now? Tell me a little bit what's happening in Atlanta. I'm just kind of curious about
I
the
haven't
whole-
had too much direct contact with my former coworkers, but I do know, having been over to the hospital a couple of times, Dan's had some tests and procedures. They're really strict about letting you in, and you can't have visitors, and they check you out, check your temperature and everything. It's
Right.
very regimented. And I know for a long time they didn't have any elective surgeries, scheduled surgeries, just emergency stuff. So thank you, Janice.
Sister, Janice.
That's Dan's sister. Um, so a lot of the OR nurses and the recovery room nurses were pulled to the floors or to the ICU. And that's kind of tough because every discipline in nursing is a little bit different. And so you're kind of a fish out of water if you're going from one place to another. You know,
Uh-huh.
they can't just pull anybody into the operating room because there's so many details to know to successfully maneuver a surgery through to its successful end. So
So it can be difficult right
very
now as far as
stressful.
having elective surgery. If you've got something that, you've been waiting.
well, they've gone back to elective surgery now, but there for a while they didn't have it. It was only emergencies. So, they had to find some place to plug these nurses in and get things that they could do. So it's been very stressful for everybody.
What's it been like as far as in Atlanta? Obviously, everyone's wearing masks. Or the are bars
Pretty
open,
much.
restaurants?
Yeah, pretty much. They're limited in their opening. A lot of takeout, but I've been to a few restaurants and they seat, they distance the people and whatnot, and everybody wears the masks and
There's plenty of stupid people
sanitized.
here.
Yeah, so
What's that, Hal?
There's plenty of stupid people.
I didn't. That was Dan. That was Dan. Well, it's interesting because I'm talking to people all over the world. I know, I'm sure you guys are as well, Scott, Dan. I've talked to a friend of mine from Spain. His name is Jesus Hauson. In 1976, he won the Monte Carlo competition for manipulation, and he's been in Barcelona. He's manages a theater. Actually, I believe he owned a couple of theaters. Everything's done. Everything's down. There's no work. I talk to Raymond Crow on a regular basis. Peter Samuelson and I and Raymond, we talk all the time. Even Paul Romani of Vanish International Magazine fame. We talk to people all over the world, and everybody right now, 99.9% of the people are really struggling and trying to figure out how to get to the next step. What is going to happen? Because currently, Zoom is it at the moment, and it's a little scary. It really is. It's not live entertainment.
One of our viewers, Joe M. Turner, is doing wonderful work with Zoom shows and bookings and that sort of thing. A few of the guys are getting real shows booked.
Yes.
There you go.
Thanks, Garrett.
but there is a difference. There is a difference between doing a Zoom show as opposed to a live theatrical performance, and close-up magic is everything. Everything has been forever changed, so you have to rethink everything that you do.
Oh yeah.
There's no touching of objects. There's no handing something out for examination. And it's quite a challenge. Some people we've run a number of articles in Vanish International Magazine, and some people have really embraced Zoom and the technology and are doing very, very well with it. Yet it's still few and far between compared to the number of entertainers there are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's what we've got, and that's all we got. So we might as well use until the
absolutely
normal comes back.
That's true.
Well, you're an old computer guy, Dan, right? How far back do you go?
I'm an old guy and a computer guy. I go back to an Apple II that was built in Steve Wozniak's garage.
Actually, we had a modem in our apartment that was with Georgia Tech with the little computer cards and stuff.
Teletype machine.
Teletype, yeah. So back in the early 70s.
Wow. Well, Peter Samuelson and I did use one of the first programs ever to be able to control one person's laptop or computer from one location to the other. I was in New Jersey. Peter was in New York City, and we used this program called Timbuktu. I came up with I came up with Totally Integrated Macs, bring unlimited knowledge to users, so we could control each other's computer, and we were just laughing like crazy because it was so much fun. But that was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, which is nothing now.
Yeah.
Hey, don't
By the
forget.
way,
Hey, Scott.
Yes. One of the things that I want to yeah, thanks for letting me jump right back in there. I wanted to show something, by the way, just real quickly, because some people had said that whenever that you had done your lecture tour that you were not as well known or didn't know who you were. But I just want to play this quick video if I can. Here, just hold on just a second. Here we go.
Who is Hal Meyers, a.k.a. Dameon? How come we never seen or heard of him? Just like you, he started young, been doing magic for over 50 years, wore bell-bottoms, did kids shows, read magic books, met Di Vernon the first time at 14 years old, nabbed his signature, figured this guy Vernon was a somebody. Went to college, played guitar and banjo, hung out with Jeff McBride on the weekends, did magic. Manipulation became a passion, studied mime, received a B.A., Fine Arts and Theater. Not into name-dropping, that happens at the end. However, a chance encounter with Ricciardi changed his life. Ricciardi got Hal his first tour, which lasted over 3 years and 1,300 live shows. Over 1 million folks saw his performances. During this time, he changed his name to Dameon. Long story. Dameon spent 3 months in Hurry for Hollywood at New York City St. Regis Hotel, followed by 3 years of cruising. 135 cruises. Another long story. Got married, left the ships. He hired Patrick Lucas, Cyndi Lauper's image consultant. Patrick transformed his classical magic look and became his business partner in a clothing line called The Magic Tube Dress. All the while, he continued performing. Dameon teamed up with Peter Samuelson, presenting magic at trade shows, industrials, corporate events. They designed special effects for feature films, commercials, print ads, and appeared at private parties for New York City's elite clientele. During all this, Dameon did side tours, one to New Zealand and another to North Korea, a trip he kept secret for over 23 years. It's the cover story of issue number 10, Vanish International Magic Magazine. He's appeared in reviews in every casino in Atlantic City, thanks to Tobias Beckwith, and co-starred in Shaboom, a 50s-style review with Dane Anthony and Lee Allen. A quick call to Bob Fitch, lots of planning, followed by days of rehearsal, and Dameon was 50s ready. Shaboom was a smash success, playing to sold-out audiences running 4 years in a row for several months at 3 different casinos, a rarity in AC. An unexpected magic cruise gig introduced him to Dean Stern, a close-up guy from the West Coast. They became friends and started a business, creating several products you may have seen, including the Skyliner, better known to magicians as Boris Wilde's Mind Scanner. During the products phase of his life, he took a magic touring break and began playing music in a band called Nepa, and occasionally as a soloist, throwing in some close-up magic in between sets because he could. A former student and past president of the Society of American Magicians, Mike Miller, called and asked Dameon if he wanted to get out there again. The answer was a resounding yes. However, during his time off from AC to the present, he'd undergone a physical metamorphosis. His hair disappeared. Dameon needed to be reborn. The bald-headed Dameon rehearsed his act and resurrected and updated his lecture for Abbott's 78th Magic Get-Together. On stage, Dameon stunned the audience with his performance, taking everyone by surprise, and the following day, they shocked and honored him with the Bill Baird Neil Foster Award for Excellence in Manipulation. Dameon's back. He appeared at several recent magic conventions, MAES, Battle of the Magicians, IBM, and Sand Groups, and most recently, the SAM National Convention with his performance, lecture, and card-throwing challenge. He continues to dazzle Magi with his Back to the Basics lecture. Now, don't be fooled by the title. There is something there for you close-up guys, stage performers, restaurant workers, trade show, and corporate entertainers. You will walk away with a better understanding and presentation and get some killer effects. If you still don't know who Dameon is, look through Vanish. He is responsible for many cover stories, written articles, and done layouts. Therefore, who is Dameon, and why haven't you seen him at magic conventions all these years? Because he's been performing, entertaining, dazzling audiences all over the globe. Book him while you can, you won't regret it. Here's the list of names folks Dameon either met, personally knows, worked with, opened for, or been associated with over the years. Dameon.
Wow. Well, there we go.
Yeah,
I didn't see my name on there, Hal.
Huh?
I didn't see my name on there, Hal.
I actually saw my name on there. I couldn't
What's
believe
that?
it. You had my name on there, Hal. Dan Garrett. It was on the credits.
Really?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
my name
Have
listed
another-
full in.
Oh.
By the way,
Well, you
hi,
mentioned
Mark
Bob-
Goldstein. I just want to say hi, Mark.
You know, the fact.
No, it's funny. What's that? I was,
I was going to say, whenever that you said Ricciardi, I mean,
Yeah. Oh, and you mentioned Bob Fitch. He's one of my favorites.
Really?
Love Bob Fitch. Yes.
Well,
He's the man.
I'll hit Ricciardi real fast. By the way, you know, if it wasn't for Jeff McBride, I probably would never have met Ricciardi. Jeff and I were friends. He was 17, I was 18. I was in college. We hung out every weekend.
Wow.
So Paul is great. I was hanging out with Jeff, and he said, "Come on, we're going to this Larry Weeks convention." We went to a Larry Weeks convention. Ricciardi was there. I walked over to him and I said, "Hey, I'd like to apprentice with you. I'd like to study with you and travel with you." And he said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I do da da da." And he said, "Well, let me see." He goes, "Call me." He gave me his phone number. I called him the next day, and 4 weeks later, I was on my way to Spain doing a show, not with him, but for a company that needed a magician. And so that was Jeff dragged me to this thing, which was great. And Ricciardi got me on. My first show was 3 years. Almost, I ran with that show for 3 years straight.
Wow.
And it was all through Ricciardi. And then from there, you know, through Jeff has been a friend forever and ever.
Yeah.
Tobias Beckwith got me booked in Atlantic City, and I wound up doing numerous shows in Atlantic City for years. And you know, I've just met incredible people over the years that have been helpful. I've been very lucky. Oh, Shields and Yarnell, yeah, I actually opened for them on a cruise ship one time. They were so nice, very, very cool. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, well, at that time, Shin hadn't won anything, you know.
My name is in small print too. I'm amazed I'm even on your list.
Well, you know that. Well, hello, Sue. So the but the list of people that I actually had real interaction with, and I was more of a joke. I like, as you can tell, to me, it's like people that I met, people that I know, people that I really work with, like Bob Fitch. I worked with Bob for years. My best material is actually Bob Fitch, you know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
well,
he was so good. He's such a great person.
We had lunch with Steven Spielberg, right? I told you that before. We weren't at the same table.
No.
Wow.
Was in Hawaii. Yeah.
That's kind of like a friend of mine who had said that he had slept with Claudia Schiffer. And it's like, what? Well, actually, we were on the same flight, and it was an overnight flight, and she was in a seat just not too far from me. She was asleep, so I slept the same time she did.
We were at a Copperfield show, and we were in the second row, and the lady in front of me, I kept having to move around to see the show. And when we got up, it was Claudia Schiffer the whole time, and I didn't know it, sitting right dead in front of me. What an opportunity!
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, David Copperfield and I were in a magic club together called the Central Jersey Conjurers. And I think David's a year or two older than I am, but he was always great. He was really wonderful and totally dedicated and efficient, and he worked hard. He worked harder than anyone. He really did. So he deserves everything that he has. He's really quite amazing.
David is still a big workaholic. Yes. He's a great guy.
Yep, that's true. Well, I think it's only fair that I had shown that. I understand that you guys didn't get audio, I guess, with that. Is that right?
I heard it.
Oh, okay. I thought they said they didn't have audio.
I didn't hear it, but that's just me.
Okay. I'm going to show something else over here then for Dan. It's only fair that I run just a quick thing for you.
This is good. I saw this. This is good.
How do you do that?
Inside the wallet. Oh, it has a bend in it. I think that's the one I was thinking. Sooner or later, it'll make its way right back. How do you do that? Oh, that's outstanding. Amazing.
Dan was unbelievable. Amazing.
Here's this bend. It's got your name on it. My goodness. So see the bend in the card. I'll do this one-handed, so don't blink. Here it is.
You're holding it.
I am? I can't believe that. Where did they go?
Sydney, Buenos Aires, Tokyo, Paris, London, wherever I go, the real wonder of my magic is the laughter and surprise from my clients. And you know, they remember it forever.
Come on up. The ascension of one card. The 8 of diamonds. That's it? That's your card, the 8 of diamonds? That's incredible. I think I'm going to make a few little squiggly lines here. That's so that you'll know the 8 of diamonds was actually moving on the page, and I will allow you to keep this as a souvenir.
When I was elected International President of the Society of American Magicians, an office held by Harry Houdini, it wasn't the fact that it was one of the highest honors of my peers, it was that I was steward to everything best in magic. And I try to bring that to every performance.
The 3 of spades. The 4 of spades. There's a missing spade. And here it is. You dig?
There you go.
Yeah, Rory, that's right. That was Eric Anderson making a cameo there.
Good friend. So.
Hi.
Hi, Janet.
Well, you know,
Hope David's feeling better.
You know, I saw that the other day. I saw it the other day, and that reaction that you got from the reporter, that was it. That was it. If you never did another thing in your life, that reaction when you produced the egg and you just walked away, and I'm sitting there going, oh, it was so, and okay, it fooled me.
I want to say that this video was co-produced by my friend Chris Teague, who is no longer with us. He wrote the Deep Space Nine episode that Jeff McBride appeared in, and he also produced a lot of Jeff McBride's TV show stuff, like the Fire Illusion. Chris Teague produced all of that. He passed away last year. But he's was quite a character.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So also that I know that the two of you guys enjoy music and play, and Hal, you play a banjo, and you, Dan, give guitar lessons actually over Zoom.
I play
guitar and banjo. Yeah.
I take lessons. I don't give them.
Oh, I thought you were giving. I thought you were a teacher, so you're taking lessons.
No.
You heard me play.
Well, it sounded better than what I do. I can't play.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I thought
he sounded great. Yeah.
I played the bagpipes to get worse than a bagpipe player because I've never played them.
But you play piano. But you play piano, right, Dan? You play
piano. I was classically trained. I played piano and jazz. I used to play in a jazz combo for fraternity parties when I was in college. So that's the only time. I think the only time we got paid is we got like free steak dinners.
You played guitar at Shakey's Pizza once.
Yeah, well, yeah. A long time ago, I could play some open chords and some strumming.
All the pizza you can eat.
Yeah, I would play and sing. I would do a set of music. Then I'd do a set of magic. Then for a third set, I'd combine the guitar playing with the magic. So I was a little ahead of my time with that. So I stuck with it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, I as you know, I play banjo and guitar.
Very well.
And I actually add? Thank you, appreciate it. I've been playing for a long time. Unfortunately, I know some
You have
guys
your
that
banjo
are,
handy
I
right there.
consider-
You can play a couple of chords.
No, no. I purposely didn't bring it out because the strings were dirty. So no, but I do. I play. Actually, I do play, and actually it's almost like I play for a living, guitar and banjo. But I started throwing in magic in as well at times, and I found my tips were like. I would work for like 5 minutes and walk away with $30, $40, $60 in tips from the magic. So, yeah, it was fun.
Well, listen, I wanted to say that if you do restaurants and you're doing close-up magic, your tips, okay, you want to double them, make a balloon animal. That's all you got to do.
Oh.
And your tips.
Well, I'll tell you, yeah. It's funny, Dan. I was just talking to Billy Dameon about that exact same thing, and I don't want to hint that something's coming, but Billy and I are working on something that's going to be really cool in terms of balloons. But yes, you can make your tips go skyrocketing. Yeah,
well, you exactly hinted at something coming. You did. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I did, didn't I? By the way, we should all say hi to George Schindler because he said, "Where else would I be?" So, George, I love you.
George, yay!
Yes.
Yay!
Good to have
George
George here with us, as well as Paul Romani and everybody else who's out there then this evening. So thank you guys very much for joining us.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of friends. Thank you very much, friends.
Yeah,
very cool.
And so you guys have been kind of busy. Also, have you been either one of you doing any kind of live? Digital virtual shows on Zoom or anything?
I only done a couple of lectures for local magic groups, but no shows. I basically retired a couple of years ago, so I don't have to depend on magic for my income.
No, we have to depend on the government.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah.
What can I say?
So Dan, does that mean I can do some of your stuff then? Because it's really good.
Well, listen,
I was watching.
Go ahead, because you can even publish it because it hasn't stopped a lot of other people.
Well, I'll tell you that's what everyone always said. You know, when Goshman did he said, "Why are you putting out the book with all of your stuff on?" And he goes, "Because if I put it out, nobody will ever do it," which is true.
Yeah.
So no, but when I was watching your card work and your handling of, I was floored because we met once at the SAM in 2018. And yes. I've heard your name. I've seen your caricature for years and years, but I've worked shows and reviews, and I never got a chance to do well. All right, I'll tell you why. When I was working through Ricciardi, got me the first thing. Ricciardi had said to me, "Stay away from magic conventions." He said they will not understand what you do. Right? He had said they will not understand what you do. They will not understand why you need to get paid X number of dollars. He said, just go out and work and do your thing and don't worry about it. And so I did for years and years and years. And as you know, Scott, the first time we met was at the Magic Island in Houston, correct?
Right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. And you were working the stage, and I was, I think I don't remember if I was on the stage with you, but I know I was working close up there at the time.
Yeah. You were doing you were doing close up. I worked several times. Well, of course, I worked with Ricky several times there. Worked with Kerry Pollock, and I worked with John Carney.
Ricky Dunn. Me with Ricky Dunn, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I worked with Ricky a lot. Ricky, again, was one of my dearest friends of all time.
What a great guy he was.
Yeah. Ricky was the best friend. If Ricky Dunn was your friend, he was the best friend. And people in the biz.
He liked to drive also. When I've talked with people, he would drive across the nation. He didn't like to fly. Yes. I guess he drove everywhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, usually, except for when he worked in New Zealand. That's a long drive. But Ricky, also one of the greatest acts I've ever worked with, and Paul Romani will tell you too. Paul met Ricky in New Zealand, but Ricky was one of the great friends, one of the greatest friends I ever had. And he taught people a lot, and he would, especially when he liked you, he would tell you exactly what was up. You know, he wouldn't hold back. And if you listened, you became a better performer. And it's a super nice guy. So
for people who don't know who Ricky Dunn was, he's a professional pickpocket act, and he did a great magic trick. And guys are doing the trick like I think a bill in orange. he would pick everybody's pocket that was helping him on stage. He was a consummate professional. He couldn't really do his act because only Ricky could do the act the way Ricky did it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things, by the way, that has happened over this past week, that this past year, we've had a lot of people who have, speaking of past, they have passed. And one of them was just yesterday that we heard about Howie Schwartzman having passed, because we were just talking then about Ricky Dunn, who had been around for a long time and was such a great guy to work with. And he was one of those guys. Ricky always reminded me of Bev Bergeron. I think of the two of those guys in the same room, like, I know I invented that. No, I invented that, you know. But anyhow.
Sounds like a New York club.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, Al.
Well, not only that, when I got a chance to lecture, Scott, for the Orlando Magic Group, that was actually the very last lecture I think I wound up doing on after the tour, the 11,500-mile tour. And I got to, and well, I had met Bev actually again same time I met Dan in 2018 at the SAM, and I was so excited because Ricky had always mentioned Bev, and I got to meet him, and it was just what an honor, what a pleasure, because the man is just wonderful. I mean, just wonderful. He's done it all. He's great.
Yeah,
great.
Show business. Bev and Eloise, great. Dan Stapleton down there too. Orlando. Hamlet.
Yeah.
When you find out more about Dan Stapleton, he's phenomenal. Yeah.
Dan Stapleton? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny that a quick story that my father actually worked on a cruise ship before I did. He was a host. And after he retired and my mom had passed, that he went out to sea for a while. And he was the gentleman host who would sit at the table and dance with the ladies and take them ashore and be their security and everything. And Dan Stapleton had told me that your dad can work as long as he wants. He said he is just the nicest guy. He's not there as a gold digger. He's just there to have a good time. And he said the ships love him and he can come back anytime. And that was kind of interesting. My dad worked with Dan, on that. But anyhow, I was going to go back to what we were saying, talking about Howie Schwartzman. I had a couple of Howie pictures over here. Then Dan, if you wanted to talk about him, then briefly then as well. Let me see if I can kind of get this picture. If I can share a screen, I'm going to. Okay.
I got a Howie story and I got a Dan Stapleton story.
Okay.
I'll be quick on both of them.
All righty. Here we go. You want to talk about this picture?
Yeah, this was at I think it was an IBM convention.
I believe so. Yeah, I think we talked about that. You had the IBM ribbon below your name tag there.
Okay, that's me on the right. Of course, that's Howie Schwartzman up front. Tom Mullica in the back. And the card shark, Christian Schink, his company is the Card Shark and Phoenix Cards. So, Chris and I are the only two people still alive from this photo. But it's a great memory. There's Howie doing his 3 coins in the hat. It's John Ramsey's routine that nobody did better than Howie. He probably did it better than John Ramsey. And this is him at 4F. That's Bob Elliott and Howie. Bob Elliott.
Bob was one of the greatest people on the planet in Magic.
Bob's wife, her name was Happy. And Happy was the secretary or administrative assistant, whatever, for who was it with Bear Stearns? Just a minute. Ace Greenberg.
Yeah,
Ace Greenberg, right.
She was
there's
the front row. That's the front row there at 4F convention there with Howie and Phil and Jay Marshall, and you see Glenn Brown and some of the other people in that photo, then as well. Kind of a good one. And then Gary Plants had performed, and when he was doing this, that Howie thought he was so fooled and so funny, he fell off the chair laughing.
There's the ROFF. You look up the dictionary, and there's the picture.
So.
Right now, Happy Elliott is trying to raise money to film a documentary about Bob's life.
Yes.
Oh, it was. Say it again. I'm sorry. What did you say, Carol?
Right
What?
now,
He was
Happy Elliott- Yeah.
such.
Oh, Happy is trying to raise money to film a documentary of Bob's life. So, and he was such a great guy. Knew everybody in magic. So,
Knew everybody and was the consummate gentleman.
Right.
yes.
You know, when he was kind to everyone. He listened. He was just and a wonderful, wonderful magician. When he walked
Yeah.
into a room, you just like you looked around, you go, "Oh, that's the guy." You know, just super, super nice, just
Yes.
dressed impeccably, just nice.
Best card
Yeah,
to wallet
yeah.
ever. Great
Oh,
coin.
okay,
bag,
yeah.
Best card to wallet ever. Yeah, he was great. I stayed with him and Happy a couple of times up there in Long Island,
Right.
Cold Spring Harbor, I think. Okay, I got a Howie story,
By the way,
Okay.
okay, please, please.
and then I'll take a break and I'll tell a Dan Stapleton story if we have time. Howie was a pilot. He had his own plane. And you probably hear other Howie stories about the plane. There was one time Howie took me on a flight, invited me at 4F when I was back in Buffalo at the Forks Hotel, said, "Who wants to take a flight over Niagara Falls?" I said, "Sure, why not?" I knew he was a pilot. And then Terry Seabrook and his girlfriend there said, "Sure, we'll go too." So here we're in this plane. Terry Seabrook thinks it's a joke. So we sitting in this plane, little twin engine plane, and taking off, and now we're in the air. Well, I'm winding up Terry because he didn't know he was actually going to take a flight in Howie's plane. So I've got back there with a book, flight manual. I'm reading, okay, how to fly an airplane. Step one. I'm making up stuff for Howie, and he's saying, "What's the control here for?" I said, "I think that's called the altimeter or altimeter, something like that." And Perry was like white knuckling it because he didn't know I was kidding. And we had a great time. We actually, back then, you could actually fly over Niagara Falls. It was not restricted airspace. So you get permission from the tower and you do a flyover.
Wow.
It was fabulous. And so we came back to land, and now there's this big crosswind. And so our first approach, the crosswind was so bad, Howie had to abort the landing and pull up and do another pass. Now I'm getting a little nervous. But Howie was a great pilot, and we got home safely. But to hear Terry Seabrook tell this story, he would embellish it. It sounded more and more fantastic every time he told it. But that's my side of the story, and I'm sticking to it. Want a quick Dan Stapleton story?
Yes. Let's hear
Oh,
it.
please, please, yes.
Actually, this is just a name-dropping story because he was with Commodore Cruise Lines, and there was a magic kind of themed cruise. We got all of us people, we were doing close-up, and we entered the talent show as the Village People doing YMCA. And there's actually video of this that still exists. But anyway, we call ourselves the Village Idiot. There was a guy from New Orleans named Glenn Girardi. There was Joe Harrison from New Orleans. Another New Orleans guy named John Rockabomber. Daryl Martinez and Louis.
Wow.
And that was the Village Idiots. So that's and that's quite a group. That's my Dan Stapleton story. It was the best cruise I've ever been on because he knew exactly how to handle a cruise director's job.
So was that actually, you say that was a David Sandy cruise, or was that just?
No, this is pre-David Sandy cruise.
This was on Commodore Cruise Lines, which doesn't exist anymore. But Dan Stapleton was the cruise director on this.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wound up, and actually it was more of a mistake than anything, but I wound up on cruises. I had done several reviews. I had done a review in New York City. I had traveled all over the world, and wound up this. Well, actually, believe it or not, at one time, Dick Brooks was my manager. You know, Dick Brooks and Dorothy Dietrich. Yeah, sure. Great, super,
the Houdini
super nice
Museum.
people. Yeah, super, super nice people. Love them. I don't know what Dorothy's drinking, but she hasn't aged a day in years. It's killing me.
She still looks beautiful.
So, yeah. Oh, she's amazing. So I wound up getting on a cruise ship through a gentleman. Let's see, who was it? I can't remember now. But I wound up my first ship, and they liked me. And then I did a second ship, and they said, "Oh, they really like you." And I get home and I get a call from the agent, and the agent says they really like you. And I said, "Great." He says, "You have a calendar?" And I said, "Yeah." And he starts naming off dates, and I actually started crying. I mean, I was literally. He booked me 50 weeks straight.
What?
I
Holy
wound
cow.
up doing.
Oh, wow.
I wound up doing 3 years on cruise ships straight, 135 cruises, and I got to the point where after the third year, I called up the agency and I said I quit, and they go, "What?" Nobody. I said I quit. I'm done, and I got off. But then I wound up meeting Peter Samuelson, and Peter and I formed a magic company, so it was okay. But I did 135. But I did those ships like 30 some odd years ago. I mean, 35, 36 years ago, I did the ships for 3 years straight, and I went cold turkey. I really hated it, quite frankly.
Dan, you have been doing some of those things along with Gary Plants and Joe Turner and some of the other guys with the on cruises with the Crystal. Can you talk a little bit about how that's working out?
Yeah, Crystal Magicians at Sea, and of course, it doesn't exist for the end of the year. They quit doing cruising back in, I guess, April or so, May, and so my cruise has all been canceled until next year. Hopefully, 2021, we'll be back in action.
But so you're just doing close up?
Yeah, that's all we did was close up. We would do a close up show just like we started out being affiliated with Magic Castle. It was called Magic Castle at Sea.
So it's not that anymore?
No, it's Magic Castle name is not associated with it. So the past year or two, it's called Crystal Magicians at Sea, and Rich Block is the producer, and Crystal. We started out formulating this idea, being associated with the Magic Castle, or doing it like a close-up show in the close-up room at the castle. So it's set up in a nice room. We limit it to 20, 25 people per show. We'll do maybe 3 shows a day, maybe do 3 or 4 days a week. So we have a lot of off days, a lot of free time, and they're just 30-minute shows. So we get plenty of free time to enjoy as regular guests.
And I get to go too.
Yeah.
That's
which is nice.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's very different from what I used to do, because when I was on a ship, most of my cruises were 10-day cruises, 7 to 10, usually 10-day cruises. And I did 2 shows in 10 days. And depending upon the ship, it was 2 sittings. So I would do 1 show like the second day in, and then 1 show 2 days before the end. And that was it. So I worked twice. By the way, the guy who booked me originally was Jackie Bright. Turns out his son became this producer called Kevin Bright. Kevin Bright produced Friends, created Friends.
Yeah.
And then my agent in Atlantic City, who was Andrea Kaufman, she produced a show with myself, Lee Allen, a comedian, magician, and Dane Anthony, a singer, and her sister is Marta Kaufman. Andrea's sister is Marta Kaufman, and it was Kaufman Bright Productions who produced Friends. I should be really famous, and I went nobody.
Forget 6 degrees of separation. You've got 6 degrees.
I'm like I know everyone, and they all hate me. That's it. I'm done. Yeah.
I don't know you well enough to hate you yet. Well, I like you.
We're not done yet.
What was interesting for people who are listening and watching this, by the way, that Dan and Hal did not know each other, had not actually crossed paths physically. But the interesting thing is talking about the 1 or 2 degrees of separation, of how that each one of us in this all encompassing magic community and fraternity and sorority that we have here, it seems that we're able to be within 1 or 2 people of talking to anybody that we want. And we have different people we work with, like in your particular cases.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. You know what's fun, and I'm sorry, Dan, to interrupt, but I work a lot, obviously, with Paul Romani on Vanish International Magazine, and because of the people that I know, I can make a phone call. I can send an email and say, hey, how would you like to, or do you know somebody? And we get these wide variety of people. I've got some really exciting things coming up, and we just did this whole. We've been doing a continuing series on Black Lives Matter. And it turns out Kevin Bethay, who handles that, was a student of mine, a magic student of mine. Wow. And so we've been reaching out to people through connect, and it's all, like you said, Dan, connections and 2 degrees, 3 degrees of separation. It's really crazy. It's really amazing.
Oh, Kevin Bethea is definitely a friend. Joe Turner and I love the guy.
Oh, super, super nice person. And and I've watched him grow in magic. And when you watch him perform, you just it's like, well, I'm sorry, but Dan, when I saw you, you fooled the hell out of me. And no, but it's, you know what it was? You're doing this stuff as though it's nothing, which is what it should be. You're just performing, and all of a sudden magic is happening, and I'm like, whoa! And the same thing with Kevin. I mean, I watch him, and I laugh and smile. It's really wonderful to see. It's really cool.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Tom Mullica was exactly that way also. Tom Mullica.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Renee Levon, that's.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, when I was in Spain a long time ago, I met this guy called Tom Maurice. and wait, I'm in Madrid, and I go to this place. Was Madrid? Anyway, I wind up meeting this guy Tom Maurice, and then this guy Ascanio, and I didn't appreciate it. What's that?
You met Ascanio.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I met everybody, but I didn't understand. Now, Tom Maurice, I hung out with Tom Maurice quite a bit, and I watched him do things, and my mouth was just constantly open. And I was cocky. I'm cocky. I was 20, 21, right? I'm doing manipulation stuff, great stuff for him. Everything I showed him, he looked at me and goes, "That's really good." Then he would do exactly what I did, only 10 times better. And I just had to go, yeah. It was great. You
that to everyone. I mean, he's the best.
Yeah.
I would go
is.
the best magician in the world right now.
In the world, yes, I would have to agree. He's phenomenal. I
don't know that he's going to be coming back, to the U.S. for a while. He was at the Magi Fest in Ohio, and I understand that he has diabetes, I think, also. It seems like that the last time that he was not doing so well physically, and so they said this may be the last time he does international travel, so we may not see him back over on our shores for a while.
Wow.
Someone listening may correct me on that, but I think that's what I had heard, that he probably...
He used to go to Spain.
What is that, Carol?
He used to go to Spain.
And
yeah, we should go to Spain. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's been
yeah. Well, and he's married to Gustavo. Do you know? What's that? Oh, well, I was going to say he's married to Gustavo Lorgia's sister, and Gustavo Lorgia is like the premier magician from Colombia, and Gustavo was this guy. Gustavo, when I met Gustavo, he introduced me to Tom Maurice and all these guys in Spain. I mean, it is amazing the people that you meet, and through magic, what an international language. And and if you just smile and just this watch, I mean, I have been blown away all over the world by people. It was crazy. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Speaking of people all over the world, by the way, before we kind of go away from this, that a few weeks ago on the Collector's Corner that David Sandy and Lance Rich put on there, which is on Sunday nights on Facebook, is fantastic. That they were talking about a new book, and they had Levent on, who's doing a book on Ricciardi. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about Ricciardi. Did you work there also at the same time whenever that Joseph what?
Gabriel?
Gabriel. Yeah, Joseph Gabriel.
Gabriel.
I just went blank. Yeah. Work with him.
Okay, now you ready for this? This is really interesting. Ricciardi got me booked on this show. I went to Spain, and he saw what I did, and this was what a moment. He saw what I did. It was a Larry Weeks thing. Larry Weeks was doing this thing, and Ricciardi asked him if he would put me on. I didn't even have an act, and that's when I came up with the original mannequin act. And Ricciardi saw the act, and he said to me, he said, "Hal," he goes, "all you need," and he took his ring, and he ran his finger over his ring, and he goes, "Polish." 2 weeks later, he calls me, he says, "You're going to Spain." He said, "Even if they weren't going to pay you, I would recommend you go with this company." So I did, and I did magic. I did an act in this show, and I worked really hard, really hard, because the show was called Tribute to Liza, and there was a female impersonator and somebody who did Joel Grey, and I did the magic in the middle of the show, and these guys were so good that I worked very hard to be excellent. So I did manipulation. Anyway, come back to the States. And he was touring. Ricciardi was touring with Joseph and other people, and he came to the show that I was in, and he walked backstage and he grabbed me and gave me a big hug. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah, freaked
That's
me out.
terrific.
Wow, that's great.
And
I got-
before I
Yeah, yeah,
forget,
and-
also, there was another thing also that we had talked about when we were together and we had recorded a podcast. You need to go back and listen to the episode over there. But you were the first magician, and maybe the only magician, to have worked in from the U.S. in North Korea.
Oh yeah, I got a call from Derek Dingle, and Derek said, "Hey, they're looking for magicians to go to North Korea." So Peter Samuelson and I went over, met with the North Korean mission. They didn't have a consulate; they had a mission, and they had this whole thing. And they said, "Are you interested?" And we go, "Oh yeah, we'd love to go." And then they said, "Yes, it's an honor to be there to perform for the Friendship Arts Festival." It turns out it was Kim Il Sung's birthday party, is what it was.
Ah.
So what happened was they said, "You have to pay your own way." We said, "Yeah, thank you very much. Goodbye." Next thing you know, they call up and they said, "Look, we'd like to book you. We'd like you to come over there." And so I said yes. And Peter was going to go, but he had real hesitation because Peter is a talk act, and I do not talk. Basically, for the reason that I can work anywhere in the world because of visual manipulation. So I called up. Peter decided not to go. I called up Moondaka. Moondaka is one of the greatest. Seriously, one of the most amazing acts. Beautiful music, beautiful magic. He created everything, built all his props. He and I went over to North Korea, and while we were there, we met these magicians from all over the world, and we basically got everybody together to do a magic convention. It was like the first magic convention ever in North Korea. We had a penthouse suite. That's a long story. And there was a magician from Mongolia, one from Norway, from Bulgaria, a Russian magician who performed for 3,000 people doing the Slidini silks.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Moondaka and I did our thing, and everyone. We had such a good time, and we worked with the Chinese Acrobatic Circus. But this was way before Princess Tenko, way before Del Salvo, and I kept it hidden. I didn't say a word for years because I didn't want anyone to be offended by the fact that I went to North Korea. But I thought it was an opportunity that was impossible for anyone to ever do, so I went. And I sent a telegram home to my wife saying, "Everything's fine. Haven't had as much fun since George Orwell's party." And it got through. They had no idea. And everybody was like freaking out. What's going on? We were under surveillance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then we had a hard time getting out. But when we finally got out, we got home, got off the plane, kissed the ground that we walked on.
Wow.
And it was quite an experience. It really was. Amazing, but magic is an international language. It's wonderful,
It's great. The hour's almost up, but can I have 60 seconds?
Oh, we've got a little bit more time. We can run over 5 or 10 minutes or whatever.
Well, 60 seconds is all I need to. It's not about a show I did. It's about a show I didn't do.
Okay.
Not in Madrid, but in Granada for the Spanish National Convention. But I couldn't make my flight, so they got a guy to fill in for me by the name of Juan Tamariz. And so Juan filled in for me. That was kind of nice. But the reason I didn't make the flight is more interesting because my flight to Madrid left Atlanta. We're supposed to leave Atlanta. It was on September the 5th, 2001. And I had my bags packed. I turned on the TV early, just in time live.
It was 9/11, Dan. It wasn't the 5th.
The 5th is my birthday. 9/11.
9/11.
That's right. I got CRS.
I was supposed to leave at 7 o'clock that evening.
Yeah.
And I called him from the hospital and said, "Dan, you ain't going anywhere."
I knew that. I stood in front of the TV holding my 30-pound bags in each hand, and I didn't realize I was holding them for 30 minutes until my shoulder started aching like crazy because I was just stunned. Anyway, there's my 9/11 story.
Right.
I'm done.
By the way, I just wanted to mention that someone had asked you over here, by the way, so you could ask what year it was that you were in North Korea.
Oh, it was about 25, 26 years ago. As a matter of fact, in issue number 10 of Vanish International Magazine. You can contact Paul Romani and see if you can get that copy of it. In issue number 10, because it's a digital publication, Paul allowed me to write an article, which is like 35 pages long on the event. There's tons of pictures. And it was, I could have actually written an entire book on what happened. But 35 pages was enough. So it's in issue 10 of Vanish Magazine. So take a look.
There you go. There you go. Well, fantastic.
I'd like to spend about 5 more hours with Hal Meyers.
Well, Dan, we can do that because I still got more martini stuff left here.
I need more alcohol. Come on.
I'm running a little bit low myself.
I've been drinking steady, guys. It's I am so honored to spend time with you, Dan and Carol, and of course Scott, my friend. Thank you so much. You guys are lovely. Oh yeah. This is again. We meet in 2018, and I walk over and I go, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you." And Dan looks over and he goes to Carol. He goes, "Who the hell is that guy?"
Not so you can hear me. I wouldn't.
I have really good hearing.
Oh.
All right.
I read lips.
I'm going to have us go out, and then we'll be back then next week. I want to just mention a couple of things, and that is I've kind of posted a couple of times over there to make sure that you subscribe to the Magic Word podcast, so this way that you can listen each week. So every Thursday we got new material that's coming out. Today we just happened to talk about FISM and demystifying that, talk to Noel Britton and to Vinnie Grasso and to Boris Wild, and they gave us some ideas on what it is that you should be doing in order to prepare for FISM if you are considering wanting to get into the Continental Championships leading to the World Championships and how the judging goes about and that kind of a thing. And then I'll also suggest that you subscribe to the pod letter so that way that you know what's going to be happening from week to week. Right now, by the way, that we just happen to have a couple of winners from last week's contest that Jamie Salinas had offered the personal let's see, what was that called? Anyhow, it was the contest had ended over there, and we had a couple of winners, and so we have a contest running again right now for a new book that is out by John Ivan Palmer about his father, Jack Pyle, and so you've got just about another 6 days to go and register for that. It's an autographed copy of hard copy of his book. Yeah, you got to say something? You want to say something?
Okay. You know what? Guess what, Scott? The first 5 people that contact you with their email address, I will give you or give them, I will send them my lecture notes.
Say that again. If you do what?
Okay. The first 5 people to contact you with their email address. By the way, that's Patty Obi, by the way. Patty, by the way, is one of the greatest jazz dancers of all time. Friend of mine. All right. The first 5 people who contact you with their email address, okay, I will send them my lecture notes. They can download them. I will give them. I'll give 5 sets of lecture notes away. How's that?
Well, let's do this. Let's do it this way.
Okay.
What I would like to, that is fantastic. Let me suggest that what I want everyone to do is to go to just go hashtag the what can we do? Hashtag the magic word. And you have to post this on Facebook or on your Instagram account, so that way we can find it. We did this a couple of weeks ago, and we had some issues with this, and so it's important that you actually you can't post it in the link right over here, but if you post this in the on Instagram or on Facebook, hashtag the magic word with a picture of you that is holding your evening cocktail or your soda or whatever that it is that you happen to be drinking. That would be great. And that way that we will send you a copy. Then I will send all that stuff over then to Hal, and that you can then send that those prizes. You say 5 of them? You're going to be offering 5 of these. Is that right? Okay.
No, you know what? Today, because it's Thursday and it's Magic and Martinis, I'm going to make it 10. The first 10 people, Scott. Okay, I will send 10 lecture notes, and they're PDFs. You'll be able to download everything. I'll send you a thing. So the first 10.
You are generous beyond belief.
No, I'm just
Wow.
trying to get rid of them, actually.
They're PDFs and you're trying to get rid of.
Well, no, what it is Scott,
What
is
it was,
there's over 600 megabytes of information. Scott, I think you got a set when you saw the lecture, but
I believe so.
but the first 10 people that contact you the way you said, you'll get me their email address and I will email them the code so that they can get the lecture notes. How's that?
Yes. So
I
Yeah.
downloaded them from a Chinese dealer last week. Yeah.
So again, all you need to do is just use the hashtag of the magic word podcast. Is that what I said? The magic word podcast, or I just say the magic word? I think I said the magic word podcast. Yeah, the magic word
I think you said
podcast.
the magic word pod. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Somebody-
And you'll give me those email addresses, and I will take care of that from my end.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody
Very
asked
cool.
Patty Obi about where she can hear the story about North Korea. She's not in
Oh,
the
well,
mag-
Patty's a friend of mine. Actually, I will take care of that.
Take care of that.
Yeah. And by the way, again, she one of the greatest jazz dancers of all time. Traveled all over the world, performing, choreographing, everything. Phenomenal dancer.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate that for all that you have done. And also, I think it's about time to see our way out. And I've got an outro over here as we kind of leave. Next week, we have already got the table set for next week. We're going to have Martin Cox, Mark D'Souza, and also a mentalist buddy of mine, Alan Gittleson, out of Los Angeles area.
Nice.
So those will be my guests then for next week. So be sure to tune in. Those of you who have stuck around this late, that you get the benefit of knowing who we're going to be having then next week. So that'll be kind of some fun then too. So thank you guys. I appreciate you coming in, and if you'll hang on, then this will be taking us out. So I want to thank every one of you guys. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Hal. Thank you,
pleasure.
Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Thank you, everybody. It's empty.
Cheers.
It's empty. It's empty.
Cheers.
Look,
Like that.
You need to fill.
Almost empty.
You need to fill up.
Mm.
Drink responsibly.
Okay, fine.
Drink
Fine,
responsibly.
fine.